settings just to make sure. Zoomed out. Coming in from the bottom. As well, I set up. You guys can see I have a pile of stuff going on over here. Hopefully my mic is behaving. I did order a new one, but I'm waiting for it to arrive. So let me just try to open this thing up. Products. I have my card in here. Where did I put that card? Nope. All right, I guess we're gonna have to do without. Just plus in. Hi, Joyce. Hi. I'm just setting myself up over here. I'm looking for art I made already. Guys, more or less what we're gonna be doing today, but of course, right? Hi Liz, how are you? I just got on, so I've been running late because I've been doing testing with the mic because I know my mic sounds horrible and all different kinds of things, but I can't seem to get it quite right. So hopefully, you guys can hear me. Oh, thanks, Kiki. That's so sweet of you. I don't have a Facebook, so I don't do any postings on there. So I so greatly appreciate that. So I got some paper pads here. This is my glass. I just love how messy it is. That's how you can know that some work has been done. I don't find my card, which really sucks. We're gonna be making one from scratch anyways, so hopefully that'll work. I do have it on my Instagram follow me gram with the show. But before we do that, this that I made, I actually just finished it up. Well, mostly finished it up. I still have some few little things to add to it, but and I have a few more to kind of do, but so I was a little rusty for the most part. And see this. Oh, you guys are killing me. I'm telling you, this mic thing is that the mic on the unplug. I'm gonna unplug it and replug it. Maybe that'll help fix it. You guys, I'm not sure if it did. Can you guys hear me now? Let's see, live control room. Let's see. I hope that this mic comes quick. Headset. I've tried every mic there is to try, let me tell you. When it's not one thing, it's another. So hopefully you better now. Hey, hi Debbie. So now that you guys can hear me, I did this little I don't know what it is with this logo thing that keeps popping up. You guys, that thing comes on automatic, and I think every time it does that, it pushes my feed and it goes crazy. Um, yes, I made this little cute little photo album. This is how the back is, and it attaches. I put little Velcro pieces there so that I'll show you guys pretty much what the purpose for these little Velcro things are right there. I just thought it was super cute how it came out. Fully done yet. I still have to do a little bit more embellishing. I'm kind of debating on whether I want to finish it or I want to let the recipient kind of finish it off. Little matting spot there, and I added these pretty large sized little cards in there. And then it kind of opens up like so, and it does this, and it does that. And again, with another little card here. Now, because this is gonna be like a photo album, and I know sometimes like adding pictures and stuff like that can make it a little bit clumsy when you're working on a photo album. So what I did is I created these little things. I glued it on one spot, and I created these little latches. Is that you can actually your book so that you can work on it, place it onto your surface, and add your pictures, whatever little decorations you want to add. And then when you're done, you can kind of, I have a little Velcro right here and Velcro right here, in it and just stick it right back in there. And then just add your little mounting strip, right back in place so that you hide all those little Velcro pieces. And there's 3 little books in here, and they're all pretty much the same. I know. Once I did this yesterday, I'm like, why didn't I do this before? Like, I'm always having such a hard time, which is kind of why I don't do many albums because of the binding. The binding issue is always the hardest. It's easy to bind certain pages to certain sections, but it's hard to bind all the sections together. At least for me, I always find that to be the most clumsy. I always find that to be like the most clumsy part for me, and then my books look weird. Like the shape comes wonky or it's too bulky in the spine area. So this way I can kind of work on the whole cover, and now when I'm done, again, just add a strip. Let me just show you guys pretty much what it all looks like. Let me get this out. And I'm gonna do a live stream on one of these because this can be somewhat of a lengthy process. And pretty much what I did is I just mounted. I had done a different version, smaller piece so well. That's why you see like little white spots here because I had to remove them. I pretty much had cut pieces the same size as this, but that didn't work so well because it wasn't sticking all the way through and through. So what I found works better is when you add the fatter piece, one on the top, one on the bottom. You could even add 3 if you want. I mean, that's completely up to you how much security you want to add to this. You can add like a whole row. I mean, it's up to you, however you want to do it. Um, binding, then you might not want to do, you might not need to do this much. But if you're not as good as binding like I am, or you want to create something that's a little bit more accessible, that's how this kind of looks. And then what I did is I added little Velcro dots on the top, and I added them on the bottom to secure it. Thank you, thank you. I will most definitely be doing this as a tutorial. Them all back together in the little spots. You can pretty much rearrange them however you wish. Like I know when I first did it, I did it backwards, and I was like, "Oh no, I'm gonna have to reglue it." And then I'm like, "Hello, you're using Velcro. Just take it all off and flip the book." And that's pretty much how that came to be. Showed you guys because I know a lot of you guys like to do stuff like that. And the more that I get into the paper crafting aspect, the more different ideas kind of flow out. So I don't think I've ever seen anything like this because I looked up binding like crazy and I've been studying like how to do binding and stuff like that. I never saw this kind of method before, so I figured I'd share that real quick with you guys, and then I'll make an official kind of tutorial. And then you see how it covers up. You won't even see the Velcro. That's my little morning share. Woo, woo. So official video, but I was like, you know what? The recipient is probably gonna be like, wait a minute. So I figured I'd just show you guys real quick, and then I'll just do one live. Um, I'll do a live stream one, or I'll do a tutorial on that. Comes up easier. So, did I bring my cardstock with me? I have to go. Let's see. Let's see. Do I have cardstock here? Cardstock here. Let's play around with some of this pink one right here. So I've been watching, as I've tried to learn this and get a little bit better at it. Watching a lot of different people's videos, and I like to go like really, really back, um, deeper into the YouTube as far as getting tutorials and stuff like that. Because a lot of those ideas that are pretty much circulating now, somehow, some ways originated from somebody from, that did it before. Through my searches, I found this awesome lady. I think her name is Zanero01, if I'm not mistaken. With something new. Oh, that's a good way to start the day. It's so hard to be original. Let me tell you guys, it's so hard. And pretty much, especially when it comes to stuff like that, it's really, really hard. For the most part, I bumped into this YouTuber. Her name is Zanero01, and it starts with an X, her name. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys have seen her because she does beautiful, like all different kinds of just everything that is, graphic 45 and paper crafting related. And I saw her make this beautiful envelope card, and I was like, okay, I have to try this. So, as I told you guys before, I have my little book here, which is where I keep instructions and I keep my ideas. And I'll even print like images with certain instruction right off the web. This is actually pictures from her blog that she has, where she has instructions and she has pictures. So I'm kind of see like this is where I was doing like the hinges and stuff like that, and I can't like it drives me crazy. I could do the basic hinge, little basic hinge, but when it comes to expandable, this, that, and the third, I'm not quite there yet. So I have my little instructions here. So I'm gonna go ahead and start cutting, but scoring. Sure, I have everything that I need to do so. And then for some of the scenes that we're gonna be creating, well, for the scene that we're gonna be creating, I went ahead and printed some images off the internet. I have like a folder on my laptop that has like it's gonna have close to like different kinds of images and styles, and I really like these but like these little fairies, and I just have like all different kinds of stuff there. And the card that I just made that I have on my Instagram, which is the first card that I tried of this card thing is on there. So if you guys want to check that out, and if you want to hit that follow, I shall follow back. So let's see. So let's get this instruction stuff going. She is amazing, and I love how patient she is when she thinks, and she'll normally have something already kind of pre-done already, and then she kind of shows you like how the the so I really do not like this clumsy little device, but it's the only thing I have. So pretty much she uses 10 and 1/8 by 6 is the dimensions of the papers. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually go into this and cut it. I honestly, I kind of like it large. So I'm going to see if I can do it without cutting into it on the larger sense, so I have more room to so let's see how this goes. No, not yet, Dana. I didn't do it yet because I have a couple of ladies that were living in Florida that are participating. I wanted to give them time to see what was gonna happen with like this whole storm and stuff. So I'm gonna be doing like a update video just to let people know like why I haven't picked the partners yet and stuff like that. Sure that everybody was safe. Like that's way more important. Doing a fairy swap, a fairy jar swap. But I think I'm just waiting to hear from a few more. But I think so. Thank God for that. I was very grateful for that. The nephews, that from what I understand are okay as well. So pick partners and then have people, waiting and stuff like that. Meanwhile, God forbid it would have been worse. And I mean, it's pretty bad, but worse. So I just wanted to like put that on hold for a little bit and make sure everybody was good. Yes, darling. Yes. So let's see. So it says to score at 2 inches and then 2 and 1/8 and then at 6 and 1/8. So I'm gonna score it just like her measurements say, because at the end of the day, I think I should still have more than enough room. I mean, it's only a half, a little bit more than a half an inch. Whatever it is. It's 11 by 8, so you guys know what I'm talking about. It says there, but I think what I'm gonna do actually is score it at 2 1/4. A little bit more room with that flap. And then since I'm not really quite sure of the measurements moving forward, I'm just center to keep my lines as straight as possible. And this is similar to a C-fold card, which is what I noticed. It's very similar to a C-fold card. So the sense with the little bands and stuff like that. And I had done a couple of C-fold cards on one of my live streams from before, so that wasn't too bad. So this is the principle of this card, pretty much. What we want to do is take it a step further by creating it, by making it into more of a 3D pop out type. That is, I'm gonna cut a little notch down here, notch up there. I'm not sure yet. And these are going to be like little spaces that are going to pop out this way. So this little notch here is going to come out this way, creating an opening there. So when I open the card, this is going to pop out and that's going to pop out. But when I close the card, this is going to go back in and that's going to go back in, allowing the card to close. I need scissors. I need scissors, everybody. But I don't think I'm going to use scissors. I think I'm just going to go into it with, into it. I'm going to say about half an inch, maybe a little bit more than half an inch. And I'm only going to go, let's see, went in about 2 inches and a half. So I'm gonna do the same thing on the top, 2.5 inches. Now what's gonna happen is that this is gonna fold like so. So this is gonna kind of fold like so. Allow me to stick a nice little border up there, and then you just kind of wanna fold this in. There we go. Then you just want to make sure that it's nicely scored. So it kind of holds itself open like so. I mean, even when it closes, it'll still close. It'll still be somehow in line with that. You might not want to make it so big, and if you do, try to put the things so that they don't pop out, past this score line here, because then you won't be able to close it. So I'm gonna have to be mindful of that right there, and not put so many things on there. I hope that this is streaming well, because I am paying attention over here to what I'm doing. So let's see. Yep, let's hold that better, Carmen. Just in case. I not want to make it so large. Finger happy there. So now you don't have to do this in the top and the bottom. You could do the bottom or the top. It doesn't really matter. The top is preferred. If you don't do the bottom, then you're just gonna end up creating your own with paper anyway. So either way, either way. So let me just make sure that this is good to go. And two, to cut out, the little the mat for the card itself that you're going to be putting on the inside. We don't necessarily need to worry so much about decorating the outside, because once we pretty much hold it closed, the back is supposed to resemble somewhat of of an envelope. You know, it's supposed to kind of have this little envelope thingamajig there. So most part, let's see here what we're gonna do. What I might do actually is cover the whole thing up in the back. Let me get another same color paper and do the same exact thing to it. It's, do I have another pink in here? I have to get more colored cardstock, because my selection is very limited. Let's see here. So maybe I won't use that. Maybe I'll use. Oh, I found one. I found one. So I'm gonna actually cover this part up so that I don't have these hinges kind of sticking out. So everything is gonna be kind of covered in there. Much out of there. That be wow. I know it's so bad that it's so bad out there right now. I'm gonna do the same thing again, and I had scored it at about 2.5 is what I said. Fold this self. And this is gonna become my card. But I don't have all these things kind of poking out and the card looking kind of crazy. So when I close it, it'll be fine. About that on my first one, because my first one I covered it up and I just literally forgot to put down that step. So let's see. We're gonna use some paper here. I really like this one. But let me see if I find one that's not so busy um, in this paper pad. Don't ask me what the name of it is. I have no idea. Let me see. Does it say it back here? I used the cover. I think I used the cover. If I didn't use the cover, it's probably somewhere. This is really pretty. Um, I might use this one, and it matches with the pink nicely, and it's not so busy where my little fairies will get lost. I have a lot of glue space on there, and I think this will work well. So, so we're gonna use this one. Let me go ahead and glue this to this, keeping in mind where I want this. Yeah, I think this is gonna be fine right there. Set of tape if you have, or if you want. Bye, Dana. For stopping by. So I'm pretty much just gonna glue all of this. I'm gonna do one side, stick it on, and then do the other, just so that I make sure that everything is pretty much functioning as it needs to. That everything is leveled. Anything that pops out, I'll just cut off. So I'm not gonna worry. So I'm gonna do the next side. And I learned this the hard way, doing this like this. Doing one side, closing it. I learned this the hard way. I used to just glue the whole thing down, and then I would wonder why my papers was like, and the card didn't want to open or didn't want to close. It was always something. So now our card pretty much opens and closes. Then I'm just gonna do the same thing right here. And if you have double-sided tape, that works just as fine. That works just as good. So we have our card. Let me just cut off this little bit that is sticking out. Base is pretty much from here on out is just with scissors, without scissors. I'm still a hot mess. So let's see. Got that going. Pretty much do panels. Now, let me go and grab my measuring tape so that I can definitely do the fun thing about this. Mixed media is awesome. I love mixed media, but mixed media is like it's a little bit of everything. You can pretty much there's no going wrong in mixed media. Your faces could be as wonky as your backgrounds could be as crazy, as full, or as empty. So you can get away with a lot. But when it comes to this is like a precise art. The measurements have to be right, or if the folds don't happen, the pop outs don't happen, the things just don't happen. So it's a little bit harder for me, especially for the way my mind works, to do this, which is why I like this now more into it as I go because it's just a challenge and I like a challenge. Let me go get my measuring tape. I'll be right back. a little measuring tape to kind of measure all of my little panels here. Let me just get something to write on so that I can, you know, my memory right in the front so that I know when I'm cutting what I gotta cut. And like I know mixed media is not really for everybody, and I do follow mostly paper crafters. I do follow some 2 1/4, about 2 1/4 by obviously 8 inches, 8.5 inches. So I'm gonna do 2 1/4 by 8 1/4, 2 1/4 by 8 1/4. The one flap already. Oh, my mind works so weird. Well, maybe not. It does, but so much about this part and part here because I'm going to be adding some kind of border strip. So where I really want to measure from, right under where that flap is, to it's about 7. So and a quarter, and then on the same. So that should do that. So let's cut out some flaps, little covers to go on here. Cut out some border trim, or at least I'm gonna create some border trim, and I'm gonna be using I'm pretty much right now in love with, which I'll show you guys in a minute, is the first thing I want to do. 2 1/4. So let's see. I have more than one sheet of this paper, so if I mess up, I can always, I have backup. I always try to use the ones that have more than one because often. Quarter. Let me just make sure. Less, but that'll work for now. By what? By 8 1/4. So let's bring this down to 8 1/4. And let's see if this is correctamundo. Yes. Probably just have to take a little hairline off of this, just to give myself a little bit of a border. So probably trimming off like a little less than 1/8 of an inch, just to allow myself a little border here. There's some kind of something going on. Okay, that works. And I could have probably even done this a little different, but number one, and we're only going to be using, we're only mainly focusing on decorating the inside of the card at this point in time. We can decorate the other stuff later on. So my second one is 7 1/4 by 4 1/4. So 7 1/4. By 4 1/4. And we need one more. Another 4 1/4. And that'll work. So these are my flaps for the inside. Flaps. So they're not gonna flap around. These are my my little covers fit right in between that, right here like so. And then this is going to be, so pretty much somewhat of a panoramic kind of view, if you will. Um, actually cut this down as this, which is the 4.5. The same all the way around. So what is it, 7.5? It's 7.25. Where did I write it down? I lost it in it. What is a 7.25? So let me do this at 7.25 too, just so that I can have it all the same rule of thumb. There we go. So 7.25, 7.25. My distress oxides, like you had suggested. Love it, I must say. So I can put this away for now. For now, we shall probably be using this down later. And I'm gonna go ahead and ink these up before I use them. So I'm gonna grab them one by one and ink these up. And my distress, I have a nice dark pink color here that I think will work very well with this. It is the Worn lipstick, and I don't know how I got purple on it already, but where's my, here's my tool, and I gotta put this on the other end. Yes. Let me tell you, 3 days after you had mentioned them, I was shopping for I don't even know what the heck on Joann's, and I noticed that they had like everything to do with inking and stuff like that on sale. So I went to check these out because what I was gonna do was I was gonna buy the re-inkers for the other ones, but then I saw that they had these for like $3 a pop. About 11. They were missing one. I'm missing one right now. I'm missing the Broken China. I didn't take the gray because I'm not really one for the gray color. Um, all the other ones. So pretty much I have a few. I got myself a little starter kit. Myself and I'm like back on sale again. So let me take advantage while I can. So thank you. I really do like them. Kind of how it goes on. And it does exactly like you mentioned, it does blend very well. And I've created a couple of things with them already. Use my other ones because they have their purpose. Good for other distressed type projects, but when you want a richer, more pigmented color, this is definitely the way to go. So I was very very happy. Right now I'm very pleased with how it works. Already done some watercoloring with them. I've tried a whole bunch of different things. I've opened up every single one of my packs. I know some people buy them and they'll keep them sealed up. No, all of my foams for the most part are dirty already, at least in one way or the other. I'm not one to buy something and leave it closed. I want to use it. Yes, we will. Then they just released more. I think now they're up to the 24 colors. 10. 10 or the 10, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I got 10. But that's a good way to start. I'm happy. I got a little bit of everything. I got all the colors of the rainbow. The thing that I really, really want to get is the Broken China because I use that light blue quite often, especially with building skies. Whereas the denim is oh, and I need the black soot. I don't have the black one. I would like to get the black one as well. I just need Broken China and the black soot one. Both of the browns. I I have the red, and I have pretty much every other color except for the gray. So I don't think I'm gonna be going so much for the other rest of the collection. Maybe if they have like something like that. Um, and I don't think, do I have purple? Yes, I have purple. So maybe if they have like a turquoise, I will probably but other than that, I think most of these colors you can get most of the other colors anyway. Um, the broken china once I get it, and the peeled paint or one of them come up with that turquoise color just by mixing a little bit of each color together. But I would definitely get a turquoise if they have it. I love that color too. Oh, that's the one you have. You gotta have that blue. You gotta have that blue. Right now, the only blue that I have is the denim one. I mean, it does its job, but it's very dark. Like for this, the album that I made, I would have really benefited from having the broken china. I really would have. Um, that album just come to life, especially like on all the tags. But I didn't. All I had was the other one, so I ended up actually going into it with this one, which is the regular one. Job for the most part. I would like to have seen some of that rich, pigmented color on there. I think it would have definitely brought it up a few notches. Yeah. Where are my baby wipes? I bought me a fresh little pack of baby wipes this morning so I can keep my dirty little hands clean. But they're really fun to play with, and I cannot wait to start building scenes. All different kinds of things with them, especially like incorporating them with stamping and just everything else. I was very, very excited about that. These to dry. So let's see. Open up this way. Let me just make sure that I do not mess this up. And I'm gonna go ahead and start to have a nice little border on here. No, I kind of I didn't give myself much of a should be fine. That should be fine. If you want more of a border, just trim a little bit more off the paper. Some of you guys are way more advanced than me, so I think you already kind of figured that part out. But for anybody that's a noob like I am, that's gonna be watching this later or is watching this now, um, you might want to just what I like about this card is that you can actually do it any size. Once you get that first flap done, that the little part that goes over as then all you have to do is fold the rest in half. So you can do it pretty much any size you want, and then just measure, lines up properly. This paper reminds me of like vintage wallpaper. Now I just have to kind of figure out. I just kind of have to figure out what border I'm gonna use. My husband was supposed to be helping me today, but I think this card might be a little too much for him. It's a little too much for me. So I was just like, okay, um, I'm gonna let you be. I think on one of the next ones that I do, I'm definitely gonna have his little Katish over here making a card with me because it's not as easy as it looks, buddy. Figure out exactly how I want that card, that section to kind of look. You definitely want to make sure you don't go over your score lines. but this is gonna be very pretty. I have some clock pieces and stuff. Oh, I can't wait to show you. Guys, I know I'm so super excited. Um, oh, he's always watching what I'm doing, and he's always like, I'm always asking him, what do you think? What do you think? Um, like my little, I'm always asking him advice and stuff. He doesn't paint or draw or anything like that, but he always gives me his honest opinion, which is why I always ask him, regardless if he likes it or he doesn't like it. This I like this part about it, but I don't like this part about it so much. Like he'll always give me that kind of that kind of feedback, which I appreciate because of the things that he suggests. I actually end up making things better. It's always good to see things nice. So, see things from a different perspective, if you will. So I'm always asking him, like, what do you think? What do you think? See? But glad that his honest opinion. I love this thing. I wish this thing was, it's here. Make my life a little bit simpler, but I'm getting better at the measurements. The more I'm cutting in measurements. So I'm getting but this is what I use. These little mermaid printouts that I got from the internet, and I made my card based on that. Um, but today I think I'm gonna use some fairies because I think that these are super adorable. Now I'm hoping that I cut some out because I remember cutting some out, but it was very late at night, so I might have been dreaming that I was cutting them. So let's see. And I have some clock pieces, which I think I'm gonna add a little clock pieces. I saw Zenora or Zenera. I hope I'm saying her name right. She used some 5 clock pieces. So I have some tool that I printed off the internet, all kinds of cute ones. And then I have this program, which is a free program. Let me see. Called Photoscape. And pretty much what this program lets me do is it lets me resize things, and I can print out like a thumbnail sheet. And when I do that, then I just put all the different pieces and it makes them smaller, and I can make them bigger depending on what size I want them. Um, and it works for most images. Some images, when you stretch them out too big, they get messed up, but some of them. I'm just looking to see the ones that I really like her for this, to see which are the ones that I'm gonna use. And these are all just found by looking for free ephemera. I might do this little bird. So you guys might see me do some fuzzy cutting if I do not find my trying to see which one is. I think that one, Le Roses. That one looks good for this. Okay, so I wasn't dreaming. Oh, that's good to know. I wasn't dreaming. Yay. So I have these cute little I did some fuzzy cutting, which I'm not the greatest at, but I think these will work really, really well. And I'm trying to get better. To look like they're in your home, into your house somehow, and now they're just kind of running amok, causing havoc. And I have this little troll because he looks like he's sleeping. But I have to figure out what kind of border trim I'm going to use before I start adding up all these little extra little bits and pieces. Can't believe I only cut out one. I did a lot of cutting, but I guess I only cut out one of the little fairies. So I must have been trying it out as opposed to doing anything more with it than that. Get a little tag there that I'm going to be incorporating in there somewhere somehow. So all of these things I pretty much cut online. I mean, I print them from the computer, um, and then I just store them. Storing system, but I have to add these to that system. And maybe some butterflies. So let me get my fuzzy cutting behinds going. Get some fuzzy cutting done because it looks like I only did one little fairy, but I was cutting for hours that night. Um, got a chance to get the rest of them done. So I think these are gonna be my images for the most part. I'm trying to see. I think that these are gonna be what I'm gonna use. I really like her, so I'm thinking I'm gonna cut her out, her instead of him, because I really like how she looks, and I think I'm gonna stand her on top of the little flower pot there. Um, before I do that, let me just dun, 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 let me just make sure that I didn't feathers. Beautiful. Ever in need of images, let me know and I'll email you some of the stuff that I have because I have quite a lot of all different categories from steampunk to all different kinds of stuff that I've found on the internet. How are you? How's the belly, girl? So I'm just gonna fuzzy cut a little bit of this, and then I'm gonna work on my border. And add my border. I'll start arranging some of these there and create this little scene. So the pink is pretty much what to go with this. If I would have used another color, I probably would have gone with a different kind of little image. Now fuzzy cutting again is not my strong suit, so I'm trying to have had this done earlier. I have a tremendous issue with time management and what I do with my time. But this morning I spent most of it kind of working with this, trying to get this mic to work properly. I heard a Logitech headset, which hopefully it's a headset, so it won't have no reverberation between the everything just being so close to each other. You know, like the speakers from the computer, the laptop, and the mic and the camera. All these electronics just being so close to each other. I'm hoping that by having the mic on as a headset, it won't be as bad. Jack, um, as opposed to USB, which is how I have this mic set up now. To be honest, I've used several different. It's always an issue. Quality image, I get terrible quality audio. If I get good quality audio, I get terrible quality image. Like, there's no winning. My darling, thank you. I'm so happy you made it. I didn't go live this Saturday too because of everything that was going on with Florida. And honestly, I was just not in the mindset to many of my friends out there and family. So like, I was like, no, focus because all I'm gonna do is end up painting tornadoes and rain clouds and add any more, any more situations is already bad. So I just opted to kind of pace back and forth in my house instead of going live. Um, I'm just glad it's all over now. All right. It's supposed to be coming up. I'm on the East Coast. So it's supposed to be coming up this way. Um, happens with that, the one that's kind of brewing out there now. Hopefully, bad. Um, coming down this year, boy. Hurricanes, like my daughter used to call them, The fires everywhere. Like it's just like what is going on? To handle from every angle all the time. So let's see. I'm trying to keep most of these little flowers because I think these little flowers will give good contrast to that pink. Um, so I'm keep this as much as possible. Thing happening here at this whole fuzzy cutting business. You can't beat free, right? Free. So hopefully, darling, hopefully, and deal. I'm a nervous person as it is, especially when I know that something is happening. I have no control over it. I get out a little bit, and I become very impatient and want news and I want feedback and I want to know that you're okay like every second, every second, every second. We're so bad because my kids they go out like I literally I'm the kind of parent that calls them like every hour on the hour like what are you doing with? Did you cross the street yet? Make sure you look both ways. Like I'm constantly on them about every little thing to the point that she's like, "Don't call me, I'll call you." um, just get like that, especially when it's obviously people that you care about. You want them to be safe. So yeah, just trying to distract my mind while I fuzzy cut this thing out. Not go too crazy. I'm not trying to be so detail perfect, but I do want to get most of these white areas because then that really won't go. Free comes at a price, right? A price. These are really cute. And I'm on picture paper, my images on photo paper as opposed to white. I mean cardstock because it comes with that automatic shine, and then I'll just fuzzy cut, the cards the paper, and then I'll just ink it. And I like the quality of that a lot better for cards and stuff like that. Which is good, then you're good to go. Like this wasn't this these came out really nice, but sometimes you download these images off the internet and they're very pixelated, which happens to me quite often. I them and I go to fix them up, and I'm just like, no, I don't know, I can't use it because it's like screen, and then you download it, and it's like really this small. So when you stretch it out, it stretches out all those pixels, and it looks terrible. Yes, no more storms, you guys, no more. There with this little dude, and then I'm gonna work on a little gated stuff that I'm gonna, well, not banners per se, but you could add banners if you want to. Add anything you want to these thinking ledges. Um, this pretty much gives you an area to anchor things to, but you don't have to do it this way if you don't want to. If you don't want to create these, then you don't have to. You can make the whole card as an envelope card without these spaces here. This just gives you a place to kind of anchor things on. So as you close it, it turns into a pop-up card. Um, so flat, it becomes a little bit more 3D. I like things that are be a part of me. I like things that are like very dimensional, things to be large. Like that's why most of the things that I make are usually pretty big. They're usually pretty large. Stuff on them, my oldie, adding this and adding that. Um, so let's see. Yeah, I finally finished. All right. Don't worry too much about this little white spot there because because I can just add something there to kind of, I'll add like a little flower or something there to kind of cover that up. So I'm not going to worry about that, but this is going to go right in here on this side. I have all different kinds of things that probably don't even go together, but the colors go together, and that's really what matters. So let me get my die cutting machine out, and let me get some dies going. And pretty much what I'm going to use as a border. If I find it somewhere around here, gotta be somewhere around here. Is it this one? Yeah, this one right here. I got this one from eBay, and this cost me. Let me put the price behind it. I think I paid like $1.60 for all of these pieces, and it's really large. I think this will pretty much cover up if I do like two of them, like the whole thing. So I'll do one top and I'll do the bottom, and then we'll figure out the rest as we go. Now, I don't think that they have it for this price anymore because I think that they noticed that they kind of messed up and they sold out of this one like quick. So worried, I didn't even think I was gonna get it. It took so long. Five. It was gone. It was like the seller was out. I was like, no, but then I got it, so I was like, yes, relief. All right, so we're not gonna be doing, I don't think, any embossing on this one today, but embossing will probably be the option to add some kind of a sentiment or stamp in the front. Now these cards are not really designed to add like much sentiment. However, you can create a little tag and write your little sentiment into it, and then just attach it to the card itself, so that it's, you know, you have like this little bit to say or what you want to say, or you can always, you know, back, write it somewhere else. Keep it as flat as possible. And then to the front, I'll probably end up doing the same thing and just add like so in the front of the card, um, to kind of hold it all close. Over there. And I need paper. I need some paper. That that floral print, and it's not too crazy. Oh, I think I know. I think I know. It's not from this one. I grabbed this paper pad. I'm like, why do I have two paper pads? This is why. Because on here, I think this one is gonna look good with that. And it's gonna be probably one. So this is a little darker for that. That is there. Maybe. Maybe. What about this green one back here? This diamond studded green one. What are you? I think this one will look good. The green matches. So I think I'll use this one right here. I'm going to be cutting into it. The shape doesn't, the fact that it has these diamonds, this harlequin design doesn't really matter too much to me because I'm going to be cutting into most of it. So the botanical stack. The sounds like an old band from back in the day. Put this out. This is down to size. Yes, for all three, six of them. I went crazy now. And the thing is, I've given them a receiving some of my products from them, and I've noticed that for when it comes to dyes, I guess because of the community now is buying so much of it from them, they don't play around with them dyes. Them things come. And the stamp sets, you wait a little bit long, but the other ones do come rather quickly. So I kind of like that. And I just shop between the both of them now. You know, I'll X them out forever. Um, is when it's time for a refund. My thing's falling apart over here. That's my issue with them. Is that why is it that you have to go up a tier in order to have quick refund? Like if I buy something from your store and I'm not satisfied with what I purchased, or I didn't get what I purchased, I should not have to wait, X amount of time to get a refund. Like it should be a quick refund no matter who it is, because the money all the same color and is all being used. Like little things like that kind of, and they owe me money and they never paid me back. Place. I'm gonna make to do this. So I'm gonna do this like about 2 inches. Um, and that's made me kind of worried. Like that's a red flag to me. Like, eBay doesn't do that at all. eBay, you have a problem with what you bought, and usually it's very quick to resolve, and you don't have to go too crazy, getting your refund back. AliExpress is a different ballgame, and because it's from China, they're like, return it, return it. It's gonna take like 3 years and 5 nights for you to receive it. Like, what are you talking about? Return it. Like I bought this sweater, but I bought it from eBay, not from China. I bought this not from Ali. I bought it from eBay. I bought this sweater for my daughter. I think that might be enough. Her was like retarded. She's all into anime and all of that good stuff. So I'm like, okay, fine. I bought it for her. It cost me like $10, which is not bad. It was like a hoodie sweater. Let me tell you something. I don't know how people are courageous enough to buy clothes from these places that are not US. Like our sizes and their sizes different. This it was a because she's a busty kind of girl. So I bought should have been perfectly fine. If you buy an extra large here, so it should have been fine. This baby gap. I was like, what the heck? When she put it on, she looked like a choke turtle. I was just like, take that off right now, take it off, take it off, take it off. I was just like, oh my god, I can't right now. They wanted to give me an issue. They're like, return the sweater. I'm like, return it for what? Like, she needs her thing now. Like, guys selling stuff when you know that the size is wrong. That it's like an extra medium. Like, it's not even a size on the chart. Like, it was so weird. The shoulders were like on the elbows. Like, what is going on with this sweater right now? Um, they refunded me. Refund. She got a partial sweater. So at the end of the day, it didn't fit her, but it fit my other daughter. So my other daughter took it. It wasn't that much of a loss, but it wasn't for her. So it was for my other daughter. I'm using this little, it's like a hard plastic as a little chamois thing that I'm layering kind of like right on top of my part of the sandwich. Consider it the lettuce, just to make sure that my stuff cuts out properly. Sometimes it does not. Hi, Jackie. I didn't know you was here. I was over here going on and on and on. Come on, mother lover. Like, I'm getting really tired of this cuddle bug. I really am. Oh, Lord, help me right now. Strengthen the serenity. Oh, you know what I mean? I used the right thing. You're just being particular today, I see. To the interview. I'm gonna give you away, and I'm never gonna see you again. Yeah, now you want to work. You don't want to be evicted. You are just, oh. Let's try this again. Look at my magnet plate, you guys. I just bought this thing. It still holds on, but like, really? Really? I gotta go through all that. And now when I put my plate, my dies on it, they're pretty much dancing in the wind here. So the whole purpose of having this magnet goes right out the dang window. What I want to do is leave me alone. My phone's going off. Let's see. Correcto mundo. This die is really long. It's literally about as long as my cutting plate is. So that everything is good to go. Feed this. Yeah, I need what's it called, a big shot. I need one of those. Another one. Because this thing, so I switched the sandwich and I, instead of putting the magnet on top, I put the magnet under, right? Even though I'm not going to use it now for magnetic purposes, now at this point in time, it's just so that it cuts my paper. Purpose I'm trying to do here. Just like so. I'm going to put my little chamois back on there. Create this little sandwich. Come on. Aren't you hungry? And you know what it is because the magnet is so warped. That's really what it is. It's because the magnet is so warped that now it creates space. It's where it doesn't need to take up space. Chamois, it's not the chamois. Magnets. So I use the ABC method. A, B, C, D, E, F, G method. And hopefully this baby cranks out because it's a solid piece. It should not be so super hard. This, and I'm going to try to fix this some way, somehow. Such a long piece. Where's my scissor? Very long piece right here, this thing. It's like wrestling an alligator. No, that I've been using this shim thing for quite some time. And as you can see, the shim itself is fine, but it's because this thing is so warped. You can see how badly warped it is. It looks like a bowl already. And then all the sides like exploded, and that's without me using the shim. I ended up having to use the shim again. I haven't used this thing in a while because applying enough pressure to cut the dies anymore. Um, so now I'm like, oh, stressed out over here, trying to. Yay, we got it. I'm gonna need more. I'm gonna need more. Now these are all gonna be different, but I'm okay with that. That's more. How do you think about the top? But I'll do this in a jiffy. So this is why I ended up, this actually was on a Wacom tablet, like those really huge old school one. I found one at a thrifty store. It was like a 9 by 12 or something. That was humongous. It didn't work after a while. I had it there because it was really big and wide, and I figured I could turn the rest of it into something as usual, right? Saving junk we don't need. But it actually worked out because I was able to get a couple of chamois out of it, or shimmies or whatever they're called, out of it. So that kind of worked out for me at the end. And it applies just the right amount of pressure. It's very warped, but it still does really good. Something that I should have done beforehand was all pre-cut, but sometimes I like going through the process of it with you guys. How much I have to do and not be too familiar with what these cards are, because I know I never really seen this before. Have them. Once I started looking them up by the name envelope card, then you find a whole bunch of them. But when you're just looking up cards, you don't really get that the option for these types of. Just run it one more time, just so that I make sure it cut out the other end. But it cuts out perfectly with the shim, as you can see. It's a matter of doing the right sandwich, putting the right ingredients, a little bit of lettuce. So they can, yes, right? Okay, Jackie, I'll see you later, darling. I'll have I'll be on Saturday in the evening. I know that's like a big transition for most of my subscribers because for the most part they're used to seeing me at nighttime and not so much during the day, and a lot of them do work during the day. It's like no, it's like I close the hours to the pub early. Trying to see how I figure it out. Like on days that are like holidays and stuff like that, like I'll be able to stream at nighttime, but when it's like during school time, I'd rather do this during the day. And I don't want to do it Saturday and Sunday because then I kind of take away from family time, and I can't do that. Time goes quickly, and these kids are up. All right, I want to do something else. I think what I'm gonna do is, do I want to do that? Let's see how this is gonna look if I cut out. I'm kind of debating on if I want to add the little filigree aspect of it or not. Solid looks okay. Yeah, I'll leave it solid. Solid looks fine. But if you want to get more intricate, you have the option of using this as well and kind of, doubling the layers up. If the background wasn't as busy as it was, then that would probably be something that I would do. But I'll leave that as is for now so that I can commence the creation. All right, so now to ink these up. I was gonna overlay them with the pink. I'll leave it be for now, and I'll just use these up. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ink these up as well. Use the peeled paint, which is what I have, in the green aspect, in the green tone. Paint. Handy dandy. And I'm just gonna darken these edges up. Hi, Susan. These these eBay dyes and AliExpress dyes to good use. Instead of just storing them, I have a box right now that weighs like a dead body and probably heavier. I have more dyes coming every day. So I'm like, I gotta use this stuff because I cannot just keep buying and buying and buying and then not using. Just gonna ink these up ever so slightly, just so they're not so all matched to the next one because they're all gonna be a little bit different in the design just because of the way the paper cuts out. Really, really good job. These inks, Shonda, as opposed to the other ones. The blending and just the ability to put it on there is so much easier. You're not fighting with it as much. It's on there a lot smoother. So I really do like that. Although I think that the tool has a lot to do with it, so now I see why they're so popular. Alrighty, so we got that going. Now it's just a matter of placements of these banners or these trims, if you will. We have our card here, and we are going to want to score this part. I think I'm going to cut it so that it actually fits. I have more than enough, so I'm going to cut this here just so that I can kind of lay this flush, or I'll probably pop dot it to make it stand up a little bit if I want to. Flush only so that I can have it close flush. So I think that's what I'm going to do with that one, but let me see which one I like the best. That one will work. It will work very well right there. I leave myself a little bit of to use on that edge. And then here, where's my score? I'm just trying to see like where it folds up. So that I can kind of get an idea of where to score these at. So that I have a decent score line on there. Pretty much, where is it? I can pretty much tell. So let's see how this is gonna go. So that's pretty much this one. So you'll see how that's gonna be at the top, and then you'll have that dimension right there, which I think that one might be my bottom. I'm not sure. So let me glue that in there. I'm not gonna glue the whole thing down because there's no need for that. I just need the top of it to kind of I like Yes. Yes, because let me tell you, between cranking this machine, arm, like I was starting to kind of lose my marbles a little bit. I'm not going to lie. So I'm gonna pretty much fix it first to that first fold, that center fold, adhere it to the rest. Then we're gonna close and then we're going to score. Now, if you don't want to fill in that rest, then you don't have to. You can pretty much add, you know, or there where it needs to be, um, to kind of decorate that. I think I'm gonna add, maybe not, maybe yeah. I'm gonna probably just go ahead and add the other piece that's missing it all the way across. And I'm gonna have to overlap it just because of the way that the design is. So I'm just gonna overlap this one to this one and just kind of set up both of those greens together. Now I kind of have that top, and then we're gonna do the same thing in the bottom. I probably should have moved that card just a smidge over. I put it close to the fold, so now what happens is that it curls up. So I'm probably gonna have to trim it somehow or make sure that I glue it on better back there. So now we're gonna do the bottom pretty much. So this one. So let's see. So just making sure where those score lines are going to be. And then I'm gonna just score it on that spot there. And then just follow the score lines that I just kind of created. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. This is just additional. It's a good rule. Make sure that your score lines are pretty much tight for the most part. Do this by hands. You don't have to use this machine contraption if you don't want to. Cut them out differently. Like I made one notch bigger than the other is the only reason why I went ahead and did this way. Otherwise, I probably could have gone ahead with making two of the same. If all your measurements are exactly the same, then you don't really need to do that. And now we're gonna do this. Thank you, darling. I know the going to Michael's causes me $5 round trip. I don't shop in the stores because I'm in a city on taxi level. It just takes too long. I mean, it costs too much. I'm not. I don't really have friends and family like that here. I have one or two friends, but since I'm a person that I stay very much in my home, very much to myself, about like just my family and stuff like that. I don't really have many friends that I can say, hey, you, come on, let's go to Michael's. So for the most part, it just does not that easy for me. So I do most of my ordering online. I'd rather pay $7 or $8 to have it shipped, $25 to go and pick it up. So, but yeah, that is definitely something that I am in the works of doing, Joyce. And eyeballing it pretty much at that point where I think I need to I'm trying to have these things line up perfectly. Let me just add more glue on here because my glue has dried now. Let's see. Yay! So, pretty much this is you end up having these little open spaces in the top and the bottom, and now you could just kind of hang things from there or decorate it, however you wish. Do the same thing that I did before, which is to add I'm gonna add the other piece of this border here just so that I can finish off this card, this trim, I should say. And on top of the other ones, I'm gonna overlay it just a smidge, and then I'm gonna cut the rest of it off. Yeah, you can on the you can use the coupon on the machine. So busy buying dies, um, replacement plates for my Cuttlebug, but I think now it's to the point where it's the mechanism, not so much my sandwiches, if you will. It's more of the mechanism now that is just not. I really like that. Um, that it's not really, doing what it needs to do. So let's see. I think I'll use this one. And I'm gonna apply the same thing that I did to the ends here, which is just glue a little bit off the top, pushing this into place, just everything else. And I'll try to keep learning so that I can keep bringing you guys these types of projects. But I think on my next ones, my weekend ones, what I'm gonna do is I want to really do this for you guys, kind of how I did it. Self-explanatory, but kind of create. Oh, I like that. I like that very much. So I even have some leftover pieces, which you can use. Create more. If you want to add more, then you can create more just by pretty much folding it out, little piece out. So let's say you wanted to create even another fold, then you would just pretty much fold that and then kind of like fold that. And then you just adhere it and you have more places. You could even and have more places that kind of come in and out and so on and so forth. But you guys get the drift. Um, so now ahead and start attaching my little thing. And I have to still fuzzy cut the girl, but hopefully she's not too bad. Because I picked one with a flower that was not too hard to cut, and she's pretty simple to just kind of go around and trace around. And the flower doesn't look too, too busy, so that should be easy. Oh, I forgot to do the bottom. I knew I forgot something. This seems too easy right now. So let me just go ahead and glue this bottom. I can stick my little birdie right over that. Tried it. Of Yes, I did, Joyce. I did. I've been wanting to quite some time. Give me 1 second, you guys. My phone is ringing. Give me 1 second. I have barricaded myself. Alrighty. It was one of my friends, but she doesn't have a car, so that doesn't help. She walks just like I do. Um, see here. Uh, where is my scissor? There it is. That I've done this, right? Now we're gonna go ahead and again with the paper that's left over, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a flap here to kind of close it off. The outside kind of matches the inside. Just make sure that these ends are good. And everything here is good. Add a little bit of ink to that. A little bit of ink, and you are good to go. Have that. This is my bottom. And I'm gonna have this little image here. I have to make sure that it's not so big that it falls out. Um, these things, because that's kind of the point of this is to let me get my other. That's kind of like the point of those little things so that you can kind of hang stuff on it, but you have to make sure that it's not gonna interfere with it closing. I'm just gonna darken this up just a little bit. Whatever might be showing on the background. My little, there it is. My little clock right here. Much. Because again, these are just like little hanging details. And you want to make sure that it doesn't interfere with the mechanics. Hard pieces, make sure that they close and that they open so that you can kind of see them like so. I'm gonna cut out some of these little butterflies. This little jar, I think I'm gonna stick it back there. I'm gonna stick the other one kind of like back there like so. Um, I'm gonna stick him here on the side. A little notch open in case I wanted to add Maybe like a little tag or there. Trying to see. I think I'm gonna go for it like so. So once he's done, let's say I wanted to add another little tag. I can go ahead and kind of have room to do that like so. So a little bit of room so you can kind of play around and add little things, little stuff if you want. How I'm halfway there. I'm halfway there, Shonda. I've had this Cuttlebug now, I think quarter of the way there. I've had it for about 3, maybe 4 years now. But I think it's definitely about that time for a replacement. I think we're definitely there. Myself, in the background. I kept thinking I was hearing echoes, but it wasn't an echo. I was hearing myself. I was running so late today. I forgot to like put it on Instagram that I was going live. Like I forgot everything. I was like, no, I didn't think I was gonna make it. To be honest with you guys, I really didn't think I was gonna make it. No problem today. I'm gonna add some pop dots on here. I should say they're kind of big to be dots. Um, I think I want to do this so that I can have a spot to kind of add there. I have to add more glue on this one. It's giving me a problem. Um, let's see. Put that there. I'm gonna finish it off. I'm gonna add nothing in there. I know my pop dot situation is all over the place, but it's okay. Joyce, popping in, darling. So let's see. Really like that. And then I think I'm gonna have her sticking up from in here. Maybe I can have those little jars in there. Yeah, then I probably should have. Um, yeah, I'll leave it for now. I probably shouldn't have put so many little pop dots on there to play, but it is what it is. I kind of like the idea of this sleeping troll in there, right? It's almost like this is his home, sleeping there. So what I'm gonna do, actually, resting on something. So I think I'm gonna add him in there to create like a little shelf. Create like a little shelf. How do I want to do this? I'm gonna fold these little things onto themselves. More. Let's see if what I'm thinking in my head is gonna work. kind of want to make it so how I do this. He needs to have his own his own little background. So I'll figure that out. But I'm gonna be using him in here somewhere because he's like the sleeping, and she's here, such an innocent little thingamajig, just trying to come in here and get something to eat because she's hungry. She hungry. More fuzzy cutting. Let me cover this glue because this glue is this thing is so done rather quickly. Um, that because of her shape, not too hard to cut out. Crazy, I don't have to cut out little fingers. They're closed. They're clasping the flower. Whatever this thing is, I think it's a carnation. I'm not sure. So too complicated. I have glue on my fingertips and it annoys me to no end. See here. Ink this up a little bit with some of that lipstick. Um, Probably going to have probably some glitter or something to this, just to kind of make it pop out a little bit more. I'm trying not to decapitate her head on. Hard. It's really hard with these little things. Cut it out properly. But we are almost there. We are almost there. And then I have some stickers that I'll probably add in here, just to finish off some of the scene. But it's pretty simple overall. You know, already pre-shaped pieces already. If you already have like your fuzzy cuts and stuff like that, like, you know, all done. You know, be it that you collect them and you have them all ready to go, or you do them, you know, a couple days before. They're actually pretty simple to do. They don't require too much work. The mechanics of the pop-up action is actually very simple. The same principle for all pop-up cards, more or less. Right, that's what they call it, the muscle. As long as that is, you know, nicely scored and everything is nicely folded, pretty much doing them anyway and as many as you like. Teeny little feet. Teeny little feet she has, says Yoda. Let's see. Or seems like it's wilting. The stem is all flimsy, but we are almost there. Little flower to survive. Survive for mama. Do. for some reason takes me a long time because I don't have time. Much I try, I always get distracted. I don't organize myself and I start trying to put things in their spots, and then I end up finding something that and I end up crafting. So what'll happen is that everything that I done organized or everything that I cut up to use the next day, I got inspired right there and I ended up using it. So I end up becoming unprepared all over again. I'm so sad. And this is yellow. Why do I have yellow out here? Hmm. This is green, not pink. My pink is under there, my brown is there. So let me go ahead and add a little bit of pink to this flower just to kind of spruce her up, pop out more. Almost looks a little bit more realistic now, the flower. So let's see. Thank you, darling. Thank you. Baby wipe. Now that we have her pretty much good to go, I'm actually going to reinforce that stem just a little bit with another little strip of paper. I feel that this is going to be too safe. So let me just here just kind of reinforce this stem some. Just so that it stands up. There we go. Quick surgery. Thank you, darling. Happy. Will you put this card on Instagram? Yes, of course I will. Almost definitely put this card on Instagram. Coming, but she wants to be ever so careful. Um, because he's very grumpy when he wakes up. Does not want to disturb him. Is actually a little mountain, a little mound here. Stand her up at. Yeah, I think that's a little mound right there. I'm gonna grab some of this stain. I'm just gonna mound right there. And I'm gonna use a little pop up. A little pop up. It's so crazy that this wolf, I can do this, right? Like I can this whole thing together. But put me to do a regular card. Lord, I don't know what happened there. I do not know what happened there. my traditional cards are okay, but for some reason it's more or less in a way a card, right? Like, you know, cover to cover, cover to cover, you decorate the covers, so on and so forth. Cards do not reflect like what I can do. Stuck. I don't understand. It is what it is. I don't know. It's just so weird. I'm going to, let's see. I'm gonna, hopefully I got this in frame. I think that I will, but hopefully I shouldn't have to. I'll leave that like so right there. I just bended the tip a little bit so that it kind of wraps around that corner there. And then really worried about her. But I'm gonna cover the whole thing up in brown in the back just so that it just doesn't look so plain and white. More uniform from the back side. Or you can print it on, you know, isn't that weird? The forehead, the eyes, the nose. Such an odd person. So let's see. Her there. Work. Yes, darling, I love it. That's it. Those are my thoughts. I love it. I really do. I really, really do. Blends so much better. I mean, they're different. They're different inks. So to compare them is really not fair. I mean, the only thing that they have in common is the fact that they're called distressed. Not fair to call them same. One is like watercolor see through. The other one's like acrylic paint. A duty of you know, putting down color, but they differently. Very differently. But I do like it. I'm gonna add a little bit of a pop-up dot. Where's that little piece that I had left over? Right here, her skirt kind of attaches itself to be placed right here. This little spot right there, and I want her to have as much support as possible. Just stick her there. I've braced the trim. It has a little bit more support. And you can leave that like that and call it a day. But I want to add a little bit more. And I'm going to add scary, grumpy troll. It's so much easier to blend with this thing. It really is. The color goes down like butter. It's a lot darker. Just like everybody says, the color kind of sits in the paper and it pops off of the paper a lot more, even on black. Um, so overall, it's just a very different. It's a different animal altogether. I mean, that's as best as I can describe it. It's a very different animal altogether. So I'm gonna add some pop dots to this as well. Pop it all up, right? how I want to do this. I wanted him to look like he was on a shelf. The book, like the book is open, and he's just kind of like on the shelf, but anything that resembles a shelf. My arsenal at this current time. So let me just cut this in half. Yes. Either. My breads come out like stones. You can hurt somebody, literally. I try not to make bread. And I'm good at making cake. I am literally feuding right now with my landlord still because I don't have an oven and I have a whole bunch of molds that I want to play with. I have an oven. Speaking of molds, has anybody tried that magic? Where is it? I found one today at Family Dollar nonetheless. I bought a pack. It's somewhere around here. I'll have to find it. Um, needs something right here before I stick that there. What can I find? Idea. Work. Work, work, work. Find of mine. Give me an idea. That does not even match, Carmen. Will that work on that? Don't do it to yourself. I will decorate it with butterflies around it. Yay, go me. So, little hands that and I don't have little hands that tell time. So, I'm gonna make little hands that tell time. One of them is long, one of them is short, and I just need to kind of put one in, put one out. So I'm gonna cut these little and let's see. There's a little triangle right here. And all I'm gonna do is cut the ends off of this little triangle right there. I'm gonna glue it onto like a little arrow, but I gotta make this shorter. Maybe I can zoom in a little bit so you guys can see. Where's my little thing? Oh. All right, so it always do that. Yeah. Um, see if that'll. So I pretty much cut a little stem out. At 2 o'clock. My little triangle. I have my little stem here. I'm gonna have to make another one. Hold on. I lost it. Doesn't matter. Just gonna cut this little tip right here of this little thing right here, and I'm gonna and and I'm gonna glue it right on the little thing of the clock. There's a hand that's telling time here, like so. Grab the other one, just kind of roll it around in there because it's so teeny that I can't really do much to it. Um, 30. So it's almost dinner time in his little world until it's dinner time. He's kind of off bringing him an offering, a little flower of friendship, so that he kind of lets her stay for dinner and not become dinner. And I just need give me something good. Give me something good. Okay, I'm gonna cut the other little tip off, and even smaller. I'm just gonna shade this in. These teeny little pieces. I'm gonna attach this right there. O'clock. So now it is almost 2:30, right? I'll probably add a little bling on that, just to kind of like embellish it. I didn't bring any embellishments with me. And let me just fuzzy cut. Do I even need to fuzzy cut? Let's see. A bit of these butterflies. These are all from my Sage printables on my computer. I back them onto my cloud, my cloud space, so that I know that I have them there, and I've amassed quite a collection of stuff. I never really print stuff out, which I have to get more in the habit of printing them out. I just like it, and I'll save it, and I'll just literally forget about it. That I even did that. And then I'll be going through my files, purging, if you will, getting rid of stuff that I don't need because my computer's like, and then I'm like, oh, I've been looking for you. Just bump into certain images, like when you're doing searches for other things. Since I'm the kind of person that I go, from a file to another file to another file, and I'll just keep clicking. Sometimes I'll end up in a different search altogether than from where I started. So I just like to save them, put them there, label them like ephemera, shabby, whatever the case may be. What I feel like I can use it for, then I'll just save it for that, and I'll just put it in there. And since my ink for my printer is not that bad because I buy ink, which pretty much means that it's just like refilled, if you will. Manufacturer brand is like unbranded. Um, my printer pretty much does a fabulous job. I have no complaints. And spend $6 on ink, and I can print out a slew, little things all over the place. I'm loving this card right now. Little fancy schmancy card. I actually got more fancy on this one than I did on my other one, which was a mermaid inspired one that I used some mermaid cutouts for. Like I wouldn't even know what to call this card right now. I guess friendship or something to do with friendship, right? Cutting a little bit more. I have a few more little butterflies, and I think that this card is done. I think it came out really, really pretty. Probably the most successful card that I have done in all these months of making cards on here. I think I should just stick to this kind of stuff and not worry so much about, basic cards, because at the end of the day, I like these a lot more ones. Anyway, I get to be a little bit more artistic, and I think um, with me, I like it to be so artistic. And the other ones are artistic as well. Nobody's saying that completely wrong. So all my card making friends, don't flip out on me. Um, all the cards are beautiful at the end of the day. It's all about what you put into it, your energy, your time, so on and so forth. And you all decorated so well. But I'm a noob at it. Some of you guys are pretty much on expert levels and you know how to color just right with your Copics and you know how to do all these things just right with your stuff. I'm not quite there yet. I am loving this. Oh my God, it's so cute. Thank you. Yes, and receiving, huh? Yes, darling, I do owe you one, don't I? um, for the most part, it's like my brain, because of the way that my mind works, mixed media is concerned, because I always refer to that because that's like my base of origin. All the other things that I've liked so far, I've liked because of trying out and working with mixed media and just kind of to paper, because that's pretty much what it is, just doing different things. This is just another form of mixed media to me, because even though I'm not using paints, this, that, and everything else, but I could, and I'm using all different kinds of elements to kind of create a scene, just like I would with mixed media. So this correlates to me in my mind like mixed media does. That's why it makes more sense for me to make these kinds than it is to make the others. And I think that that's probably the proper way of expressing that. The cards are not nice, because I've seen some beautiful cards that I only wish that I can do. Look like the most simplest things in the world watching the person create it, but doing it yourself is very different. I give nothing but love, props, and respects to all my friends. Don't block me and don't unsubscribe. But the little hater that I have that keeps giving me a thumbs down every time they see that I put a card video, you can keep doing what you're doing, love. Don't tell nobody. Shabby chic was all pale. I thought shabby chic was supposed to be all pale. Different little things here and there. And how many butterflies was it? Was it just those three? Probably do it for me with this. I think that those three are perfect. I probably don't even have to add this fourth one in there. Um, this card, and it doesn't even have to be all that crazy, but just simplicity. Um, the job. These are just little extra tags that don't even really belong there, but that they will look in there. Them be and glue the bottom parts of it. All of these become little tuck spots where you can actually tags and stuff like that. So you can actually go ahead and just add some stuff. Now, if you don't want to have these tuck spots, then just glue it all the way up, or just don't stuff nothing in the back of it. But I really like how this came out. Not too shabby. Proud moments. Yes, I get to have one of those. Hi, Michelle. You can. Can you bring her up close? Yes, I most definitely can. Here, I just added a little butterfly there. We have this little printable. You see the full background. Everything is shaded in. This is all printed. Everything here is off the internet. I didn't buy one single piece besides the paper pad. You know, paper pad. I didn't. None of the images are bought from the store. Pretty much printed online, and I think it looks just as good as if I had bought all the pieces off. This is the other side. I think I'm too zoomed in, so let me zoom out a little bit. It is. Let me zoom back out. Hopefully my thing will catch up. But yes, of it, what I'm gonna do is add the trim, the little clock is, and the little butterflies. I mean, you can. It almost looks like you bought all of this stuff. You just have to take your time and really fuzzy cut. I love that. You know, all the little things out. And I know a lot of people do a lot of fuzzy cutting beforehand. Um, that too much because I'll end up putting them away and then I'll forget that I did it. So I'm thinking about just kind of doing them, you know, project by project, project by project, but I know which direction I'm gonna go because as much as I try to plan, I can't plan to save my life. It makes it really hard. And then on the back, you just close it up, right? You got a cute little pop up. You'll have your little thing here that'll end up being your little clasp here. If you want, you could put a little, you know, a little decorated stamp or something, and then put the to from label here. And you could continue to embellish and decorate the back as you wish. It's almost like making like one of those little folio cards, but it opens up very nicely, very smooth to open and close, which I like very, very much. Um, so I am done for today. Woo woo! So much. I'm so super, super excited. Um, well, I have you guys here. Let me see. Where is it? Where did I put it? Oh, here it is. Have any of you guys tried this magic, model magic, this clay stuff? Have any of you guys tried this stuff before? Does anybody know if it's good for molds? Because I have some crown molding that I want to do, but and I could do it in cold porcelain, but I want to try an alternative to cold porcelain to have a backup plan. So does anybody know if this works well? Thank you, Shonda. And hearing that from you, I know I did good today. So thank you guys so, so much hanging out with me. And I'm going to try to see what other card I can do for next week. Maybe I'll do more of this, or maybe I'll do something else, different themes. I'm not sure yet. I play it by ear. If I can learn it, if I can learn to do it, then I can. For some reason, these intricate kind of projects are easier for me than the simpler ones. That's just how it is for me. Um, so I'll see what I do, but I definitely want to also do the tutorial on the mini album and just show you guys kind of how I did the whole and stuff like that. So yay! So use cornstarch in it and it won't stick. What about Vaseline? Can I use Vaseline? Well, I have a whole bunch of silicone molds that I've purchased, that I've been purchasing, plus some that I've made myself, with using the kitchen guac and cornstarch, like a little mixture. And you just kind of stick the stuff in it, and it kind of creates a mold and it holds it. So I've been using that, but and I make cold porcelain, and I still have my cold porcelain that I still have left because I don't use it that often as well, the one that you bake. But my oven isn't good, so I need to make some pieces because I want to make an altered box project, you know, probably the Saturday for my live stream. So I need some crown moldings and just different things that I want to, you know, try. But I didn't want to go crazy and start putting all my time and energy into this thing if it's not going to dry like I need it to dry, and if it's just going to get all retarded on me, then I might as well not even bother. I stashed like 2 more of these. Hopefully they don't find it, because if it works, then I'm gonna be going for the other 2 packs. Thick in my silicone mold, so the cornstarch really helps. Maybe powder might help too. All right, I have both. That. So, my darling friends, thank you so much for your feedback, your inputs, your tips. With me is always of just great joy to me. So, thank you guys so much. I will catch you guys again on Thursday. Hopefully, fingers crossed, God willing. Art journaling, mixed media, just different things that I do with that. So if you guys have any tips or suggestions or requests for anything to see, let me know. The last one I created the gesso, and I also showed you guys how to do the modeling paste, how easy that was. So if you don't know how to do those, you can always go back to that very first one, which was last Thursday's video, and check that out. And that is. But if anything, I'm on this. And I will check you guys out later.